This is the first video of 10 of the US Customs and Border Protection release. It's actually 10 separate videos. This is the first one of what I can tell is around 6 different events. So we'll go through each one of these. I'll give my analysis of it. This is the first one. So you can tell it's actually grayed out here. This is where they can just block out any of the secret information. We can get data from the background, right? You could tell where this is if we look at Google Earth and spend the time. You could take the time and actually nail down where it is, but you're still not going to know the altitude of the aircraft that's filming. So it's infrared. Again, they don't change polarity, so they always keep it. Looks like black hot to me. Oh, take it back. So if the bushes are going to be colder than the background, so it's actually in white hot right now. So this is the engine here. You see, it's got the heat. There's a little paraglider and then the heat of the engine. And in a little bit, you're going to see something fall off of this. So as we get close enough, we can resolve it. And there it is. You see that fall off? Look at that. They dropped some drugs, is my guess. Dropped a big satchel of drugs. And then they fly that thing back. Chris Lehto. Welcome to Lehto Files. Welcome to the channel. I'm Chris Lehto, retired F-16 pilot turned UAP investigator. So this is the website where it actually came from. U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Document type, this is a FOIA request. So Freedom of Information Act record. It released Wednesday, August 9th. It just came up on the internet. And I watched through the videos and I wasn't that impressed at the time, right? But looking back now, I realized, man, this is a huge release. I mean, you're looking, this is U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and we have 10 full videos over here. 10 videos. Now, we've been asking for videos. That's what I've been asking. Where is the evidence? And so here it is. So let's go through this. The first one here is the records pertaining to unidentified aerial phenomenon. This is pretty interesting. The records is actually a 389-page document. Okay, it's actually a great summary of the UAP phenomena. Committee Security and Policy Studies number 183 by Frank Milburn. And I read through all of this. It's actually quite good. From November 2020. So this came out, almost 3 years ago, and it is still kind of up to date and explains a lot of what was going on. So in June 2020, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence unveiled the UAP Task Force at the Office of Naval Intelligence, a successor to ATIP. This paper dives down the rabbit hole with Defense Department insiders, scientists, and declassified material to find answers to a host of questions. Are mystery craft near-peer adversary platforms or exotic U.S. platforms? Or are they extraterrestrial? What is the technology behind them? What kind of threat do they pose? What are the geostrategic implications? And what are we not being told? I would say this is a great read, actually, if you haven't read. So check that out. That was pretty interesting. So just one example from Eric Davis, kind of some interesting stuff here. So look at this. The following are emails seen by the author that reveal startling revelations about the UAP task force. Okay, Eric Davis was on the task force, we learned later. On August 13, 2020 at 3:31, Eric Davis wrote, "Sorry, Sid, you're off on a time-wasting diversion from the facts. The F-18 FLIR videos are not hoaxed. I was a DoD deputized advisor to the Nimitz and Roosevelt investigator under a subcontract to the DoD, and I perfectly know the provenance of those videos, plus all of the associated Aegis weapon system and other radar." Look at that. As well as all the pilot reports. These are the facts and are true. This squeamish little nonsense about being skeptical and considering alternative narratives as a valid hypothesis is a sign of cognitive dissonance. So there's some quite interesting emails in here that show that Eric Davis did actually see, it looks like, the Aegis weapon system radar data. And the Nimitz, the Roosevelt, was the Aegis, has an amazing new radar, and that's what's picking up all these crazy contacts from space with Kevin Day and Gary Voorhees. Also interesting, says other radar. That's probably the E-2 Hawkeye, as well as the F-18. Also mentions in here the F-18s were never able to get a radar lock. So reading through this long document, it looks like there is some pretty interesting information from Eric Davis. He definitely looked into all the data on Nimitz, and he says it's definitely extraterrestrial. He also says he briefed 2 congressional committees. It also goes through Colonel John Alexander. His views, link is in the description to this webpage. Recommend reading through this if you do want to check it out. It's an interesting read. So this on page 123 now is basically the redacted example of the Tucson Helicopter UAP. Okay, so this happened 2021. While assigned to the Air Support Unit as a tactical flight officer, I was working with blank, who was acting as pilot in command. We had just cleared from a call when blank asked me that a Customs Air and Marine helicopter had just taken off from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, had a near miss with a UAS. We responded to the area to assist in attempting to locate the aircraft. So we're going to see a bunch of these. B7E is a big one, and B5. These are your redaction codes. Declassified documents will usually contain redactions, which indicate portions. First, for information contained in records under 25 years old, one or more of the classification categories from section 1.4 of the order will be applied. So this is where you could have what we normally see as foreign government information is B. Okay, so it's not so clear, right? Is this E, scientific, technological, or economic matters relating to the national security? That's what it seems like more to me. And then B5 and B7 reveal formally named or numbered U.S. military war plans, or reveal information that would impair the current ability of the U.S. to protect the president, vice president, and other protectees. Yeah, so they just put that in for everything. B7E, B7E, B7E. Okay, so this would mean that it's protecting their identities. But here is B7E now to protect the president. Okay. Yeah, that's not complicated at all. But here, so we know it's at night, right? We responded to the area to assist in attempting to locate the aircraft. I attempted to track it utilizing my night vision goggles, but I was not able to observe the lone position light that I had seen, even when looking at the correct position in space. Also using goggles, I was not able to see the actual craft in order to try and get an estimate of its size. I would provide updates on a location to someone who related to air traffic control and the Customs and Border Patrol helicopter. If you remember, this case is basically a UAS, a green flashing light that ran circles around the helicopter for, I believe, over 40 minutes and then flew up into the clouds above 10,000 feet, basically showing performance that no drone could actually do. Then there is a lot of pages like this, B5, B7E, like I just showed, B5, B7E. Okay, and then we start getting the narrative of how these 10 videos came out. And what you'll basically see is it came from the efforts of kind of one guy, Bob Thompson, inside Border Patrol. He is a paramedic. So we go through all of these pages. There is, what are these? Just redacted total pages. Is this really giving away plans? Look at all this stuff. Just total redacted. They didn't even just the whole sheet. They're like, you don't get to see any of this. Okay, so is it email trains? My guess is it's more email train like this. And this is the one we were talking about. Okay, so now it starts getting an email trains. Mentioned that you were interested in the Suez near midair incident back in February. Below is the safety report they filed in Tucson. Hope this finds you well. So then we go to this basic report. While departing Davis-Monthan via some departure, the crew had a near midair collision with a SUAS, so an unmanned aerial system quadcopter. So they identify it here, but they never actually identify it visually. Near Banner South Hospital, 3,500 MSL, the SAM observer was the first to see the unmanned system pass across the nose within 30 to 50 feet from left to right at the same altitude. The pilot was talking to ATC as the UAS passed and requested a 180-degree turn back to track it. So basically the pilot sees it and goes back to try and track it down, see what it was. ATC approved the request, and the crew tracked the unmanned system to Davis-Monthan, where it started a loiter pattern on the north side of the base. The system appeared to be a quadcopter 3 to 5 feet wide with a single blinking green LED light on the bottom. Okay, which is interesting. Tucson contacted the helicopter, Air 2, to assist in the tracking of the UAS. Within 5 to 6 minutes, Air 2 arrived on the scene, so they get another aircraft there. The crew up blank coordinated with Air 2 and continued to track the UAS around Davis-Monthan. Within a few minutes, it appeared that the UAS operator became aware that the UAS was being tracked and started to climb away from Davis-Monthan to the northeast. Air 2 and blank stayed with the UAS in the climb to altitudes above 10,000 feet MSL, so climbing above 10,000 feet. The unmanned system started to fly circles around Air 2 while the crew of blank was trying to acquire the UAS blank blank. The crew of blank, again, is this protecting the president? Followed Air 2 approximately 1 to 1.5 miles behind them and continued the attempt to acquire the UAS with the IR camera. The unmanned system started to conduct evasive maneuvers in an attempt to break visual contact with Air 2. Both aircraft continued to track the UAS as it turned northwest bound and departed Tucson Class C airspace near Miranda Airport at 12 to 13,000 feet MSL. The UAS continued to climb to approximately blank. Again, that's protected. Why is that protected? Into the clouds above and blank. What is it doing? Between Miranda Airport and Silver Bell Mine. It disappeared. It vanished. I mean, what happened? Air 2 then broke off and returned to KTUS. So they've lost the light. The crew of blank descended to a lower altitude and conducted a search for a possible recovery crew within the area of the last visual sighting. The crew of blank searched for approximately 30 minutes and was unable to find any personnel or vehicles parked in the area. No injuries were reported as a result. Nothing further to update. The Air Force is considering their investigation secret and have not provided TAB with further info on their findings. Look at that again. So the Air Force shows up, doesn't share anything with us. Okay, and this is really how it all started. These videos, how they got out, is from this guy, which I believe is Bob Thompson. He was in a debrief article. Okay, this is from May 27, 2022. Incursions at the border. Homeland Security agents tell of encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. So this is from last year out of the debrief. So newly released video and direct testimony from a former Customs and Border Patrol agent reveal that much like U.S. Navy pilots who say they've regularly encountered unidentified aerial phenomena, law enforcement officials defending America's borders are also encountering unusual aerial objects with surprising frequency. It's not just the DoD encountering this stuff, says Robert Bob Thompson, a recently retired Department of Homeland Security agent. In an interview with the debrief, Thompson recounted how one of the roles he took on as a federal agent with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol's Tucson Sector Special Operations Group involved establishing the reporting requirements for unexplained aerial phenomena within the Tucson sector. So it looks like Bob Thompson actually took the ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, order to go and make sure we are tracking UAPs and documenting the videos. He took it seriously. So, sirs, as per our conversation, assignment to special projects, I have compiled reports, videos, and news articles in blank. I'm assuming some sort of folder. In addition, I've nearly completed a 20-page issue regarding the subject and outlined reporting and training requirements as well. I've also begun working on training material in the form of PowerPoints, and Mr. Blank has the exercise I created, while the A2C2 that can be used for UAP. A2C2 is the Air Coordination Center for the Tucson Border Patrol. The rubber duck video, which we will go over next, is being evaluated by the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, and I'm awaiting their report to include in the issue paper. Please feel free to browse their credentials. They are also working with blank and blank former defense intelligence officials. Feel free to browse the folder and read or watch the various items contained within. And then this is blanked out. B6 now. We didn't check B6. What is B6? Reveal information, including foreign government information, that would cause serious harm to relations between the United States and a foreign government or to ongoing diplomatic activities of the United States. Okay. I'm not sure I will have time to complete the rest of the projects I had in mind regarding the phenomenon. Please feel free to assign someone to continue this special project in my absence. Special project. During this research and while conducting interviews, I found hundreds of agents and dozens of pilots that have witnessed events, including a large amount within SOD. Their stories are both credible and amazing. I'm confident you can find one if solicited for the position. We need to gather this data, catalog it, and document its existence. The Department of Homeland Security could play a vital role in the possible early warning of what former President Reagan deemed an outside alien threat. Blank, especially since we have a significant aviation role along the southern border. In June of 2021, the Director of National Intelligence came out with the UAP report, and in that made it clear the need for reporting requirements within all government entities. I know the pilots over at TAB feel the same way and look forward to the ability to freely report what they see without ridicule, as demonstrated by the February 2021 event over Tucson. Many Border Patrol agents also feel the same way, but unfortunately, it's still very much taboo. I know the subject is sensitive in nature. I've taken utmost care to not divulge sensitive or classified information to the SCU folks that pertain to our operational security. They've had me sign an NDA as well and will protect my identity until after I retire. Thank you for allowing me this incredible opportunity in both the A2, C2, and J3. I look forward to see how the program turns out in the future. Excellent. And let's see how that went down. Okay. And then we get these text messages, and you can see this is basically from his boss. Okay. So this is the medic, Bob Thompson. Can I report my status earlier than 800? Sure. Okay. I'm blanked, redacted, redact. And you'll never believe the email I fired off to redacted, and redacted again. Response. Okay. What did you email to those guys? I will forward it to you. I'm taking blank walk. We're going to need to discuss your email habits. So that's not a good email to get from your boss. Haha. Sensitive nature of my work. Yeah. You can't be emailing the A2C2 director and the APAIC. Well, you can, but do not be surprised if it bites you in the ass again. Yeah, I fall on the sword for many causes, story of my life. So to that end, please do not email my boss. My boss's boss. Jumping the chain of command is not a highly respected activity. Copy. Got it. Forward me the email, please. I thought I was still working for blank just in J3. So this does happen in the reserves. You know, who are you actually reporting to? Am I reporting to that person? Who's going to write my performance report, etc.? So it's not always clear who your boss is necessarily. I swear if I catch an ass chewing over this. Since when do you report to blank? What you're seeing here is the stigma, okay? This is the stigma. They're using assets. You know, we didn't direct this guy to do this. This guy's saying immediately, I never directed this, you know? And here's what he says. Since when do you report to blank? I repeatedly told blank what I want to do while in there. I thought I just got removed to J3 to help fix the stats side of everything. He thanked me for my hard work. Just trying to tie up loose work ends. And this guy says, I'm going to send you my official response on email. I want there to be no question where I stand on this. Enjoy your vacation or something. And there's a C in there now. What's a C? I mean, is that a big C? Intelligence activities, including covert action, intelligence sources or methods, or cryptology. Is that what we're keeping secret here? Is that what that C is? It's a big C, though. They're going to go in, post these text messages so that this one guy can show that he wasn't supporting it. It wasn't a government organized run operation. And then they're going to redact it. So you can see right here, unidentified aerial phenomena, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. So that was the first one. To me, just looked like a drug smuggling drone of some type. So these next videos, 2-1, 2-2, that's the one of two videos for the rubber duck. And then 3-1 and 3-2. Okay, none of these videos have sound, which is good. I can just talk over it here. This is the first video of the rubber duck. And actually, the rubber duck does not enter yet. It enters in the second video, 2.2. So let's go to that now, where the rubber duck actually enters the field. So I've done a long analysis on the rubber duck video. You can check that out 2 years ago with Vinny Adams, Andy Marcial, and we had a specialist who was on IR specialist. There you can see some cows right there. Do you see these cows? And there he picks it up. So the cows were going to be warm, actually. So in this case, it'll be black hot because we saw cows there. So cows are going to be black. So they've blanked out everything in this screen except for this. Okay, so November 23rd, 2019. The actual coordinates, we did get the coordinates before. So we did know the coordinate lengths. And what I determined is this thing flies in a straight line and it doesn't go any faster really than the wind, than the forecasted wind. So based on this, the direction of this object going with the wind that was forecast that night and not going any faster, okay, basically it was an average speed of around 10 knots. It looks like it's going fast, but again, you have parallax error. The plane that we're in is actually spinning around this thing. So what did we determine is anomalous? The best thing I could come up with as a mundane answer, if you can say there's any sort of mundane reason for this, is could there be an invisible balloon? It would have to be invisible to infrared here, holding up a payload. That's the only thing we could determine. Otherwise, from this, called the rubber duck because if you can see here, it looks like a little rubber duck, maybe difficult to see. not zoomed in. Let's see if we can get a better image. These are long videos here, and these are the first, and these are 4 videos. There we go. So we're zoomed in more, and what you can see there is it's just a very cold object. Looks like it's rotating. They think it's rotating, and that's why we think it's hanging from some sort of balloon that would be invisible to infrared. If there is a balloon here carrying this, could it be invisible to infrared because the temperature is the same as the ambient air? That's what the special we had determined. But now let's go to the SCU reports. The SCU report had something different to say about this object. So this is the forensic analysis of rubber duck, publicly available video. Okay, analysis of the evidence and resulting conclusions, November 12, 2022, by Peter Reale. So it goes through here. That's the aircraft RC-26B aircraft with FLIR video camera mounted on the bottom of the fuselage. So there it is right there. Okay, you can see all this. Look at all this data. So this is the velocity with motion parallax taken into consideration. Okay, I don't agree though with what's in the SC report actually, because they say the object is doing a circular path. And what I calculated is they're just tracking this object as it's flowing northwest over the border with the prevailing wind, and the plane is circling it. That's what I calculated. So this is the abstract from Peter Reale. A multifaceted forensic type analysis was conducted of what has been termed the rubber duck videos. These are 2 publicly available MP4 files that appear to show an unidentified aerospace phenomenon moving with no means of propulsion or aerodynamic means of lift across a desert environment. These 2 30-minute clips, Rubber Duck 1 and 2, are claimed to be from an anonymous source at the Department of Homeland Security. They're reportedly taken from a FLIR camera on board a RC-26B aircraft used by the Arizona Air National Guard November 23, 2019. Data displayed on both videos are consistent with video being taken while in flight over the route described by the source. SCU was provided these videos by podcaster Andy Marcial. Kinematics, trajectory, rotation, flight characteristics, lighting, and temperature are investigated, as well as environmental weather conditions. The results of this analysis support the conclusion that the object cannot be explained as any known natural phenomenon or by any known technology used for aeronautic propulsion. As such, the object can be classified as a UAP. Such objects can be a hazard to aerial transportation, a dangerous distraction to pilots in certain situations, and are worthy of scientific investigation. Unknown. Yeah, I think it is anomalous. Like I said, the best mundane explanation I can come up with is you have a balloon that's actually carrying this. That's why it's actually showing cold. Or this is somehow just a pack of balloons hooked together. And that's what we're seeing is weird effects. That's the only mundane explanation I can give. And here is the 4th video, Rubber Duck. And they couldn't track it to where it actually landed. They didn't see anything drop off of it. And they never changed polarities. I think they're stuck to this polarity. So you can see there, yeah, it really looks like, I don't know, hanging device, or it could be just a clump of balloons, possibly, or it's an anomalous UAP. But in this instance, I couldn't find any kinematic way to say it moved not in accordance with a pack of balloons, unfortunately. Just can't prove it. Okay, much more interesting video, I consider it, is the A10 video. The next 4 videos are related to A10. So what you have is you have on the range, these A10s are practicing getting shot at by simulated systems. So what we're looking at right now is the video from one of those simulated systems. Normally tracking the A10, but he notices this weird ball type object. Now, the primary skeptical argument against this ball type object is that it is a bird, right? You can see it's kind of moving, it's kind of flapping, if you will, like a bird. We'll see it again in a second. But that is an A10. You can see it, twin engine, designed to be shot. A10 is a titanium bathtub. Okay, so there's not really any more information on this, but I'm guessing it's the same object and same engagement. We can't gain so much from this, so it's redacted, right? It's grainy. We see this one ball out here, and the question is that a bird? Could a bird produce those types of effects? You can see slight motion on the object. Could those be flapping wings? That would be my question. And the argument against that, right, that this is a bird is these guys are out there for years. The guy running this system right now has probably been out there thousands of nights. He's tons of experience using this system. It's another one. I believe that was an A10, and then you see here again is the object. So it is out of focus. Based on that range you saw at the beginning, there was the aircraft, and now you have this object behind it. So what is the range of this? If we knew the range of this object to the camera sensor, then we could tell. But I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that's a bird? I mean, it does look like it almost looks like flapping, but on the other side, again, these guys are out there for thousands of hours. They must have seen many of these things before, and yet he tracked this because it was something interesting. And Bob Thompson, I've actually talked to him last year. He said that they are declaring that they see many strange things out there. He's trying to get these videos out for many people, he says. All right, going to video 7 now. A10. This is the best A10 video, I think. Okay, so there's the A10. Black hot is what we're looking at. Okay, so black hot. So the object there comes in hot. Could it be just a bird closer? Or is it that sort of green object that was in Tucson? It was flying around the helicopters. There it is, because it looks like it catches up with the A10. Could that be possible? Or is it just a bird in the near frame that just happened to be in that position on the A10? Okay, so those are the A10 ones. I think very interesting. Now we go to La Bruja, called the Witch. So this down in that area. This time we did get coordinates, and it is armed. Okay, this is your laser rangefinder. They should have good range to this thing if they fire the laser. But maybe they don't want to fire the laser towards these sort of houses, etc. I wouldn't want. And this is what they see. Okay, very similar to the rubber duck. To me, it looks like could be the same phenomenon or object as the rubber duck. And the question is, would this be a similar thing? Could you have a balloon, for instance? There's your cows right there. So that's black hot. The cows are going to be black. And this thing is just bright white. So cold. It's cold to the environment. That's where if you had a metal container held by a balloon, then it could be cold based on the wind. But would it be that cold if it was metal? Unknown. Or is this some sort of drug smuggling operation? It's probably pitch dark out there. It's probably pitch black. That's why you're seeing grainy images here. So that's Bruja. Very interesting. Okay, an Aguadilla. Yeah, I forgot this actually came from the DHS plane, Department of Homeland Security, over Puerto Rico. And this is just an amazing case because SCU looked after this. And based off radar data, they say that this object actually did go in a circle. And we'll have to check it because based off that last SCU report, I'm going to have to check it again. Because when I looked over rubber duck, that thing went in a straight line. Could this be the same thing? Could this just be some large balloon or Chinese lantern or pack of balloons? And what's just been incorrect now is the radar data on the plane. Is the report incorrect? I would tend to think it is not, because this report was actually done by multiple people. It wasn't just one person writing the report. It was done by multiple people. but still needs to be looked into. If you look at Aguadilla, I think this got to be one of the best UAP videos. This is the one it goes into the water because you can see it now going among trees, right? As it goes down, as it descends, we get size estimates on it. It flies behind trees, so we know it's a real object. It's not like a sensor artifact or something weird like that. So it's definitely something real flying. The question is, when the plane's moving, is this thing going in a straight line or is it maneuvering? If it's maneuvering, not with the wind, then that immediately rules out any chance of balloons. But that's also why I heard McWest and company have recently attacked this, saying that it was balloons and the actual data on the plane is not correct. So I think I do need to check that after seeing the actual report on the rubber duck. And this is where it goes under the water. They say that that's also some optical illusion. I don't know where balloons would be going in this case. I mean, where would the balloon be in the marine layer? Like, why would you not see the balloons? They're just above the water, skimming above the water. So why doesn't it slow down if it's a balloon? So that also doesn't make sense. This is where they say it's just two balloons that split. So finally the rope breaks between them and now they split. Is that the argument? Or they're just still flying? So that's old from 2013. Probably the best video, I think, of UAP, but man, we need to go back and check. Check again. Okay, so that is the end of that video. Hope you've seen that before. But it's great that these are all online now. They're on an official government website. Thank you so much to Bob Thompson. And you could see, and he did come against reprisals. I mean, you saw there, they didn't want him working on it. They said, okay, yeah, you can do it on your own time, but we're not supporting you. I talked to him verbally. He said he did have serious issues. You wonder, is that reprisals or is it just terrible bureaucracy? It could easily be reprisals against. They just didn't like this guy drawing attention. They didn't like him getting these videos released. Interesting. All right. And then for the last video, here we go. Number 10. Okay, that's your UAP enters in the bottom right corner here. You can see it here. Okay, and unfortunately, I mean, as soon as I saw this thing, I thought that it looked like a balloon to me. That's what I thought. Again, I'm no pro in tracking balloons. I haven't tracked balloons, but there's nothing here saying that it couldn't be a balloon. What is the anomalous behavior here? I can't really tell. It does seem to it like descends and goes behind this little hill over here. But that shouldn't be impossible, right? I think a helium balloon, a deflating balloon, could do that. Let's check it out here. We lost it. Is it gone? So we'll watch the entire video here. But Bob Thompson really sounds like he was the one that was able to get these videos out. And there it pops back up. So it's basically behind the hill. So I think you could have had like a wind eddy there, possibly. And then as it climbs again, gets back into the wind. So are we looking at a plastic bag or some sort of balloon, deflating balloon? I don't see how you couldn't at least think that that's possible. But they track it, and it shows we do have these sort of systems, right? It's being manually tracked, obviously. So person's moving that. These videos are there, and we're not going to get any answers if they're just sitting in secret government computers for really no reason, right? There's no reason this should be a secret video. This should be releasable. And they did release it. They released 10 of them. So thanks to Bob Thompson. Thanks to you, Bob, for getting this information out. I think the A10 videos are the most exciting for me. La Bruja, also exciting. Like, what is that? And the rubber duck, right? What is that thing? SCU thinks it's anomalous. I can't really identify it, but I think that's the best skeptical argument we have. Okay, so that is the full run through of the US Customs and Border Protection UAP release. I got to say, I am happy. I am excited that there is a release. Okay, when it first came out, I wasn't that excited, but looking back on it, the records pertaining, that's all interesting, very interesting stuff. And then those videos are US government videos that they are releasing about UAP. So anomalous events. The rubber duck, I'm curious what you guys think of that case. Curious what you think of the A10 videos. Those seem like the best to me. But are you excited about this? Disappointed? Curious on your reactions? Please hit the like button, subscribe to get future notifications of my content, and then you can get additional background information at patreon.com/Chris Lehto. It's only $5 a month, and it really does help. It really does help the channel and allow me to bring you guys great content, or at least the best I can produce. Thanks again. You can also go to YouTube memberships and support there. Couldn't do without you guys. Have a great day. Peace.